I think we can all agree that Matt Araiza was the biggest steal of the entire draft. Hello everyone, that was a fun and very interesting draft. We saw Trayvon Walker get picked first over Aiden Hutchinson. The Jets actually had a perfect draft for once. That will be talked about in a different video. We saw many talented players fall out the first round. Some surprisingly didn't get picked. A lot of things to talk about with this draft. And one of the things I want to go over first with the draft is the biggest steals. There are a lot of talented players that got picked lower than they should have. And I want to discuss who those players are and why they are the biggest steals of the draft. But before I go into that, 98% of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed. You guys can change that by subscribing to this channel and turning on the notifications so you know when I upload a video. I would also appreciate it if you guys gave this video a like. It helps my channel out a lot. Alright, let's get into it. I expected George Pickens to be a late first round pick, but he fell pretty hard having guys like Christian Watson, Wan'Dale Robinson, John Mechie, and Tyquan Thornton being picked ahead of him. But thankfully the Steelers mercifully ended his fall by picking him. There was a report that teams did not like his character, so I think that played a big part in his fall. There weren't many things I liked from the Steelers draft class, but George Pickens is one of the only things I liked from their draft class. They gave Kenny Pickett an outstanding rep in. Pickens has great hands, is an amazing route runner, is pretty explosive, has pretty good footwork, and pretty athletic. If Pickens can stay healthy and mature, he can end up being a top 3 wide receiver from this class. My favorite position in this draft class is edge rusher. It is very stacked and has a lot of good players, which includes Nick Bonito from Oklahoma. One of my bold takes for this draft is that Nick Bonito is a top 3 edge rusher. Kayvon Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson are the only players better than him. Yes, I said Trayvon Walker was a top 3 edge rusher in a different video, but that was until I watched Nick Bonito's film. He has pretty good finesse moves, great burst off the line, is very fast, pretty athletic, a really good run defender, has a high motor, and has pretty good instincts for an edge rusher, and I believe his finesse and power moves can get better. I don't think he'll get a lot of playing time early due to the fact that the Broncos have Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory, but it sounds like they are likely moving on from Bradley Chubb next year, so when Nick Bonito is ready, he and Randy Gregory will be a dynamic duo. The Colts needed to get a tight end after Jack Doyle's retirement, and they got a perfect replacement in Jelani Woods from Virginia, who I think is the best tight end in the draft class. He has pretty good hands, is a pretty good blocker, is very fast, is the most athletic player from his position group, has pretty good footwork, and has a pretty high ceiling. I think he can improve catching the ball just a little bit more and become more of a yards after catch tight end with his insane athleticism. I really like what the Colts did here to replace Jack Doyle. That was an outstanding pick. Would you look at that? Another Colt on here. If I was a GM for every team mock draft, I had my Saints selecting him 16th overall. Of course, that was because I had Trevor Penning picked higher, but I really like Raymond, and I would not have been mad if we picked him. He's a good pass blocker, pretty good run blocker, pretty athletic, has great power, great balance, he's violent. I love that in an offensive lineman. I also think he can improve on his techniques, pass blocking, and run blocking at the next level. He has a great chance to be one of the best tackles in the league, and the fact that the Colts got him in the 3rd round is pretty good. You know, when I thought this video idea a while ago, I did not think Keke Dean would be involved, but here we are. He fell pretty hard in the draft, which is surprising to people like me because he was considered the best linebacker prospect in the draft. He was linebacker 2 for me, but you get the point. And I had no clue why he was falling until I saw that teams were concerned about his injury history and the fact that he didn't have shoulder surgery didn't help his case. Basically, Keke Dean got the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah treatment. 6 linebackers were selected ahead of him. Sure, he may be undersized and has an injury history, but you can't ignore his great tackling, amazing coverage, insane speed, insane athleticism. His blitzing was so good, and he was basically the quarterback of that Georgia defense. And now he's going to be paired up with Hassan Reddick in Philadelphia. What a great pick for the Eagles. Yet another guy I did not think would be involved in this video. I know Willis has a lot of concerns and his floor is pretty low, but I really thought a team would be intrigued by his high ceiling in the first round. Well, not only was he not selected in the first round, but he wasn't even selected in round 2. There was a point when I thought that he would be a day 3 pick. It was insane, but thankfully the Titans ended that surprise fall by selecting him. This is an intriguing pick to me because Malik Willis is the definition of a boomer bust quarterback. He has insane arm strength and mobility, but there are a lot of things that are concerning about him, like his decision making, how he goes through progressions, his mechanics, and how impatient he is. But with the right development, he could become an all-pro quarterback. Taking him in the first round would have been a huge risk, but picking him in the third round and having him sit behind Tannehill for a year is a very good idea, and he could end up being the biggest steal in the entire draft. Love this pick for Tennessee. The Packers had a weird start to the draft, but they ended up having a pretty good overall class, and Sean Ryan is a big reason for that. He is a pretty good pass blocker, a great run blocker, pretty athletic, has pretty good techniques, great power, great balance, and he can play both tackle and guard. I personally think he is better at guard. He is a top 5 player at that position, but he's a pretty good tackle too. Without a doubt, my favorite pick from the Packers. The Browns don't have a lot of draft picks thanks to them giving up a good chunk of their draft capital for Deshaun Watson, but they made the most of their 108th overall pick by using it on Perion Winfrey, a defensive tackle from Oklahoma. In my opinion, he is the best defensive tackle in the entire draft. He has an incredible burst off the line, pretty good hand-fighting techniques, is very powerful, very athletic, very fast, and he gives great effort. His tackling and run defense needs some fixing, but I really believe he can improve in both those things at the next level. The Browns' defensive line is going to be scarier than it already was. The Patriots' run game last year with Damian Harris was nice, but it could be better, and the Patriots improved it by selecting Pierre Strong Jr., a running back from South Dakota State, with their 127th overall pick. I love Strong. I think he is a top 3 running back from this draft. I could not believe that 10 running backs went ahead of him. He has great vision, a pretty good ability to change direction, good footwork, very fast, pretty explosive, and he will fight for those extra yards. I'm really excited to see how both Strong and Damian Harris will look for the Pats next year. And that is my biggest steals of the draft. I'm rooting for everyone that I talked about today. I hope they all have successful careers and surprise many people. Well, they won't surprise me because I knew how good they were going to be, but you get the point. Let me know who you guys think is the biggest steal of this draft. I'm very curious. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys later. Peace.